Hello everybody and welcome to my first review, and it's going to be a classic one.
Hello YouTube, now as it is the 10th anniversary of the Doctor Who Revived series this week, or at least I hope it is, and I've managed to edit this in time, fingers crossed to pre-filming and editing, today I'm going to be going back and taking a look at some of the products that I've bought in my Doctor Who collection that quite frankly are the building blocks that if I did not buy these products, I could possibly not be doing this very video for you today. And these two figures right in front of you now may be quite insignificant to just the standard viewer, but to me this was the first ever Doctor Who product that I ever bought. When I say I bought, I mean my parents bought. See, I bought this back in 2006 it would have been, and I believe it was around the airing of School Reunion, funny enough, because back then what used to happen is figures were released to coincide with the actual episodes, which I found quite fun. I just wanted to go back and take a look at some of the products. Yeah, I can remember this day very, very well. I went to a local shop called Woolworths. Funny enough, these days that shop is actually shut down due to the credit crunch. So yeah, this was a product that I bought from there, and I can remember standing in the Doctor Who aisle, and there was this set, along with the tubes of figures, and there was all the other standard figures, like the 10th Doctor, there was Rose there was the remote control Daleks, there was the big Daleks, there was all sorts of Doctor Who merchandise, and I can remember this set here, and I was rather excited to buy something. I believe it was on average of £15. Brought it, I knew that this was the main character, and I knew that this character was called K9, not because it actually says it on him, I just knew that already. Somehow, that has led to a bit of a mystery to this day. I knew who K9 was, and I really don't know how. I could even remember him talking. I may have seen Doctor Who on TV, like on TV Gold or something, before, and I just could remember the characters somehow. But yeah, this is a set that I sort of had my attention blown to, probably because the other figures were like £6, and then I seen that this set was around £15, and it came with a figure and a remote control one, so therefore my logic of a 6-year-old mind thought it was a better value set. See, I came home with it, and then my mum said, "Okay, but this is definitely the only one you are buying," and boy, she was wrong. See, this set itself is actually quite battered. Now, I'm going to take a look at the 10th Doctor first. It's technically the oldest figure in my collection, because I bought this one and got it out of its box first. I don't know if it came with a sonic screwdriver, though. I've just shoved it in his hand to make it look like it makes sense. So as you can see, the figure itself, especially on the face, obviously on the nose, you have a lovely little paint scrub there, and then also on the chin, and also on the hair. We have tons of paint scrubs on there from everything. Basically, this has been battered to hell during play. I can remember when I first bought this, I used to play with this all the time, just to prove to my parents that I really did actually like the product, and I wanted to buy more. My logic of a 6-year-old shone through once again there, and it sort of won. So the actual figure itself is the standard David Tennant sculpt that we've seen over and over again over many years of Doctor Who. This is, of course, the darker suit version with the blue stripes. Now, I do believe there was actually two variants of this set, one with this standard figure, and then one with the trench coat. And fun fact for you, I never actually got a brown coat trench Doctor until the 11 Doctors set, which wasn't really that long ago if you put it into perspective, which is quite a shocker actually. So yeah, I finally got my hands on one of them, and then I end up having a few in my collection now, dotted about, a few battered ones as well, a few like from eBay bundles. But yeah, for the bottom there we have the remains of his shoes that sort of been battered over time. We do have the blue and red detailing there with a few marks on and things, and this detailing of the actual shoes themselves. Taking a look at the legs, we have that patterning once again of the creased and wrinkled effect that we see on tons of character options products. And then, of course, we have the blue stripe line running up the suit itself. The suit is really nice with some detailing on of some buttons in the pockets and the things there, and the little buttons there as well. And then, of course, we do also have the little shirt underneath with his tie there. The arms have got the same detailing on, and as you can see, just taking out the sonic screwdriver there, his hands are also pretty battered as well. They're sort of scratched. I believe that one is even more, look, as you can see. Yeah, we have some very battered hands there. He's one of my just standard 10th Doctor sonic screwdrivers, so as I said, I don't even know if this one came with one. But as you can see, just when you move it, it is extremely flimsy, which is what I like about this product, because it sort of shows it has been used quite a lot during play. As you can see, it's just very David Tennant. He's got a lot of articulation, probably a lot more than he actually should now, because his legs are just so wobbly. But yeah, it is an alright figure, isn't it? I do, of course, like the sticky up haircut version more, but this one's a nice little figure, isn't it, to the collection, and one that is rather important. So yeah, You can't even stand properly. Taking a look at K9 now, I can remember buying this and I can remember being really happy with it. I can always, even back then, I can remember thinking, it has such good detail. But more in that squeaky voice of, it has so much great detail, I really like it. Because obviously I was 6. But yeah, here is the actual product. Now this is actually a lot more chunkier than the standard K9 because it is of course remote control. But it does have quite a lot of detail. As you can see there, we have K9 written on it. I don't actually know if they released a clean version that was remote control, but as you can see, this is the rusty version, so the mark before the new one. See, we have all these different lines on there, the rust and silver, and the scratches, not too brilliant scratches, I must say. We do have more on the back there, sort of like rusted copper effect, and then on the back there, we have even more scratches and things. So yeah, I do think it's actually quite good. What I do like as well, I can remember liking, we even have the addition of the collar and things and the tubing underneath the head itself. And then moving on to the actual head, as you can see, this has been really nicely done as well. The one bad thing is, though, overall, the actual sizing of the product and the scaling is a little bit wrong. As you can see, it is actually a little bit bigger than what you would expect for a K9. But yeah, we do actually have some really good detailing on there, the little eyes and things, and I really like the nozzle snout thing there with the little gun. That's really cool. And then, of course, we have his flimsy tail and his computer bank there. I do really like this product. As I did say, this is actually a remote control one. Unfortunately, the exact remote control that inspired me to do this video has now disappeared off the face of the planet, and I can't find it anywhere, which is really annoying. So yeah, this does go remote control and whizzy about and things. I'm sure you'll be able to find a video where it moves online somewhere. Now, I'm doing a bit of comparison. As you can see, this remote control one is actually bigger than other versions. I can remember getting this one for Christmas, and I didn't find out until a few days after Christmas that it actually had a little pop-off panel there, which you can sort of reveal that stuff underneath. The other one being remote control, obviously it doesn't have that, but yeah, as you can see, this one is slightly bigger, and we have the tube one. This came in that massive set of Series 2 figures. There's a remote control one, and this one's the classic one, which is quite weird actually, because this is a group of firsts, because this was my first ever figure at all, and then this one was the first ever figure that I actually reviewed, because I reviewed the 4th Doctor and K9 classic set as the first ever video on my channel. So yeah, that's quite interesting. The first for everything is K9, it seems. Now, this product is not entirely a figure, but I do believe that the flight control TARDIS wasn't actually released for quite a while from when the original 5-inch figures were released. Instead, we got this, which is the Doctor Who money box, which quite a lot of people used as their TARDIS, including me. Now, I do believe that this was another product released around the early months of 2006, mainly because that this is the David Tennant version, where when you press it, all of the quotes are from the Christmas Invasion, which is me thinking Character Options wanted to get this out as quick as possible to beat the Child with Christmas Money market, and also the I Want David Tennant merchandise as soon as possible market. So yeah, this TARDIS is actually quite nice, and me for the past several years, because this has been the product that's been holding up the ends of my DVD shelves. So yeah, quite a lot of these have been battered over the time. Quite a lot of the people have ripped these out inside to create classic TARDISes and things like that. But yeah, this one's actually quite nice for a money box. It is alright. Of course, it does have a lot of different bits of detailing on, and the sticker is a little bit small, and the keyhole is a little bit simple. But around the outsides of the actual panelling, as you can see, we do have the detailing of some wood there. The windows are quite simplistic and just white and things, nothing really much around there. And then we have the speaker panel and the speaker grill, which has been really well done, actually. There's no ugly battery compartment on the back, which is nicer than on the back there. And then, of course, on the top, we have the additions of Police Public Call Box and the little light there. So now the thing that everybody wanted to buy this for, and that is the money thing. So yeah, when you open it...
I'm him. I'm literally him. Same man, new face. Well, you have it.
David Tennant's trapped inside, it seems. But yeah, when you open them, as you can see, we have a rather battered image in there of the 10th Doctor. I nearly forgot who that was then. We have the image of the 10th Doctor, and then, of course, Rose Tyler from the heavily used promotional images for Series 2. This is definitely the much more common one, and I do believe the Christopher Eccles one actually quite thought after. So yeah, much like a return of his character, which will never happen. Oh, that's awkward. Now, next up is a product that I think looks absolutely amazing on camera. I first seen the Cyberman figure, I wanted it straight away because it looked absolutely amazing, and I wanted to buy tons and tons and tons of them and be able to reenact the Age of Steel or whatever that episode was called. And then I bought one of them, and then they released a lovely set which basically consisted of this one and 2 Cybermen. And whoa, doesn't it look bloody amazing? But yeah, Here is a standard Cyberman, if you've not seen one, how? But yeah, here he is. Doesn't he look cool? He doesn't have an arm gun. I never got an arm gun Cyberman, which I really need to go back and get one day. But yeah, we have the stereotypical nappy with 2005 written on, you know, like all of these figures do. But yeah, they look really cool, don't they? We have the Cyber Controller in his throne. Now, I got this from Toys R Us. I believe it was actually a Toys R Us exclusive. Look, open the doors like how it does in the episode and John Lumick comes on. Yeah, but doesn't it look cool? The only issue is he doesn't really actually sit in the chair. He literally is held in by these stupid wires, which are really annoying to put on, and it takes absolutely ages. But yeah, he doesn't actually sit in it really, but he does look quite good in it, doesn't he? Well, he looks really good in it, and all the pipes and things. This is what a figure is, character options, not the 3.75 figures. Here we go, let's end this 3.75 review series on a high. Look at it, it's just just all of those, even the little Age of Steel logo. On the bottom, we just have some company information, but I can remember getting this for Christmas and being really happy with it. It just looks absolutely amazing, all these wires going around the back there. Nothing really much to report on the back, because we didn't really see it in the actual episode. But yeah, I do believe that this was actually quite a late bloomer to the Series 2 editions of figures. I believe that this was actually released 2007 to 8 onwards as a Toys R Us and Woolworths exclusive, I do believe. But yeah, this set looks really cool, and I really like it. And as well, the Cybermen to go along with it. Just look how cool they look. Next up are 3 figures that are good, but possibly one of my favourite line of figures in the whole collection. It is, of course, the purple Clockwork Man, the black Clockwork Man, and the blue Clockwork Man. Now, if you've been a follower of my channel for quite a while, you'll know I'm not very fond of the variants. But these ones, they could release them over and over again, and each one would be absolutely amazing, because these figures are brilliant. And if you don't have any of these in your figure collection, I highly recommend them. So yeah, this one at the front here, the Leader Clockwork Man, was actually my first ever one that I ever got. Now, I can actually remember getting this one once again from Argos, because Argos seemed to be the font of all Doctor Who figures, and I can remember getting this, and there was 2 of us. There was a man there, like sort of a quite a large 40 to 50-year-old man, and then there's just me, probably about 6 or 7, no, actually I would have been 8, just there waiting innocently. And what the idea was I was in queue first, so I got to pick first because they're in the assorted thing, and I picked this one because I really liked the look of it, and that man literally stared me down with a face of death because I picked the one he wanted, and he was just left with another figure. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been a Krillitane, I can't remember. But yeah, this figure has been one of my favourites in my collection for years. As you can see though, just taking a look close up at that detail, it's absolutely amazing. For some reason on mine, there is a bit of white, sort of powdery stuff that always goes on it for some reason. It's been like it since I bought that, which has been weird. See, we've got all that on the back there, and what I do like also is the addition of the little tiny knife there that is of course removable as well, and just the amount of detail on these products there, look at the bottom, is absolutely amazing. Now, one thing of course which is amazing, is that absolutely amazing face mask. I don't even know why I'm going down like that, because we can take it off, can't we? In fact, let's have a look at this first. The mask itself can be removed to reveal the clockwork head beneath, which I absolutely love. It's not the biggest amount of detail, but as you can see, we have the neck piece out, which I really like. They're just sort of this overall average shape of what the head did in fact look like in the episode, with a bit of gold inside there. You can guess what it's meant to be, and it is nice that it can actually do that, and as you can see, you can just sit there with no mask on, which I find really cool. But yeah, taking a look at the mask itself, which I literally used to take on and off constantly, here we have the head itself. Now, as you can see, the detail on this is absolutely amazing, and all the little tiny bits of patterning on the face there, even to the extent of the hair. There's lots of different curls and things. It is an amazing piece, and I just like the way that that fits on there. And then there you have the figure itself. Knowing these days, they'll probably re-release it, but without the removable face mask, so you then needed to buy a separate one. So yeah, the next one was, of course, Blue Clockwork Man. I can remember this was actually one of the first figures that I actually thought, yeah, it's blue. And yeah, I do like my Black Clockwork Man that's already sat at home when I was looking at this in the shop. But this was the first ever time that I thought, hang on, I'm a collector of these figures now, so I need to buy it. And that was like in 2008. So here he is. This is like 2 years later, and I got this this one. He's really cool, actually. My Forbidden Planet had him on Reduce, and I was debating whether or not to get him, and I, of course, decided to. I don't know what took me so long. So this is the blue version, probably the most common, I would arguably say, for the Clockwork Men. So on the back there, we have all the different tassels and things, and it is generally a bit of a different sculpt, actually, compared to the original. The bottom's exactly the same. The jacket is different because it's more open with these tassels down the side. And then we, of course, have this bit and, of course, the waistcoat underneath there. I do actually believe they released a black one in this colour scheme, along with a blue one in the colour scheme of the black one as well, if that made sense. But yeah, on the back there, we have lots more detail and things. Same thing goes with the little knife thing that's removable, which is a really nice feature. And then, of course, the removableness of the head. Now, this is actually quite a hard one to get off, as you can... Oh, and I've knocked over the camera. That worked well. Here we have the face mask, and what I do like is each individual face mask was actually different compared to each individual release. So as you can see, we have the hair on the back there, and the actual mouth itself is quite black and creepy. So yeah, they are a very creepy design, aren't they? Finally, the rarest one to the collection of Clockwork Men, I do believe. It is, of course, the purple Clockwork Man. Now, this is actually quite a late addition to my collection, actually, because I got this, not this Christmas, but the Christmas before, so that would have been 2013's Christmas. So yeah, I got this not that long ago in like a big bundle of figures. I believe it was a £20 bundle, and this was one of them inside it. I got a few new ones, but the main majority reason was actually to get this one here, because it was going for mad prices on eBay. This is actually a part of the Gelf wave, and does actually feature the exact same sculpt as the other blue one. So as you can see, we have the tassels on the back there and things. It is a really nice figure, and once again, the head is removable, but we have that lovely green smile on there. I'm really happy that I've got this figure, actually, because I was wanting it for years, and with it being a part of the Gelf wave, the whole of that wave tends to be quite rare now with the older Doctrine things. But yeah, this one is really nice too. So here we have the Impossible Planet crew. Now this is actually quite an interesting area, because it's a good example of products that you will not see today, because we have this elevator thing. I can't remember what it was actually called in the episode, but these days we would never see an object like this, and to be fair, it's actually quite an unusual object for even back then in releases, as it is a whole vehicle. It is like a little bit bigger than the Flight Control TARDIS, and yeah, it's actually quite an unusual object, considering it wasn't really in the episode as much, but it did play quite a pivotal part in it. Along with these figures, there is actually some more little figures to get as well. There is Toby Z. Now, there's two variations of this. There was obviously Possessed, and the fairly rare now Unpossessed figure. So this figure is actually quite nice. So this is in fact the second take of filming this part of the video, because I totally forgotten about this figure, and I just had these three next to the lift. But yeah, this one's really nice. Actually, we have all the different bits of patterning of the Beast text on his face and things. And then we have his on the arm there, and the same little indicator that the Doctor has. It is actually quite an interesting figure, and once again, it's one of those products that, yeah, it is actually a bit like Hawthorne. Why would you want Toby Z? There was in fact two variations of the Doctor in spacesuit released. Yep, even back then they were doing these re-releases, weren't they? So yeah, we have the newer version, which is, as you can see, it looks a lot newer than this version. It's not really very broken, unlike that one, which it's meant to be, and it's all orange and new, and then as you can see, the visor on the spacesuit is actually fixed and lovely. So yeah, it's like before he went down in the lift. So yeah, it is actually really nice. We even have the little Spacesuit Sanctuary Base 6 logo on there. It is actually a really nice figure, and I do believe that this one was actually exclusive to the lift. So yeah, I can actually remember buying this one. This is the destroyed version. Now, as you can see, it is actually not really that much different compared to that one. It is, of course, the exact same sculpt. So yeah, we just have the same detailing on there once again, but this time on all the different creases and things, we have a bit of dirt applied. We have the Sanctuary Base 6 once again, which I do like, as these were used in episodes such as Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, The Waters of Mars. They are actually, and more recently, the Kill the Moon episode. So these suits have actually seen quite a lot of action over the years. And then, as you can see on the actual helmet itself, what I do like is the visor. If we just pop that off there, the visor is actually broken. So yeah, I do really like that, because the broken effect on there is actually really good, and then we have more battered stuff on there. And I do believe, actually, on the face of the figure, there is also, like, a little bit of dirt applied to the face. I don't know, that might just be my figure in general. But yeah, it looks a little bit different compared to the other figure, which is nice. So yeah, it might be nice to have a bit more dirt on there, just to sort of represent how he, like, fell a long way in the actual episode. And then finally, we have the Ood. He's fell over. Finally, we have the Ood. Now, this is more of the generic Ood, really. There was a few of these released, including a glow-in-the-dark version. But as you can see, the head is not the best compared to one such as Ood Sigma. there was a lot more detail on those ones. But yeah, it is actually a really nice figure, and the glow-in-the-dark one is cool as well. Unfortunately, I don't have that, but yeah, we just have the servant robes there. It is actually really nice. There was another variation of this set where you got two of these Oods, the Lift, the Doctor, and also Toby Z. I believe that was actually the unpossessed version in that set. I don't know if they actually released that singly as well. I can't really remember. But yeah, it's actually a really nice figure, and it does go up against these ones really well, doesn't it? And he still fell over. So we're ending off on a product that isn't actually, technically speaking, a figure, but one of those products that I think you needed in your collection to be a Doctor Who fan, and that is, of course, the 10th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver. Now, it has been re-released to death right now, but there is actually, back in the original releases, it is in fact the better versions. So yeah, there was many versions of this released. The original was the 9th Doctor one. Unfortunately, I never picked that up, and that was basically a bit more peachy coloured without the crackled effects. Yeah, it might be nice to pick that up at some point. But then the later versions included the little paper booklet, which you could then use as a psychic paper, and then they eventually got around to releasing the Sonic Screwdriver and psychic paper in an actual set, which, as you can see, I nicely have in its box here. I actually picked this up for £3 at a little car boot market stall thing about a year ago, and even though I already had the 10th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, I thought it was quite nice to just have it in its box. So yeah, here is the actual Sonic Screwdriver itself. I have multiple versions of these. Unfortunately, this one is pretty dead right now, as you can see. I believe if you've actually been watching my channel for that long, this is actually the same one that was in the room tour video, and as you can see, I've still not got any more batteries for it. So yeah, it's actually really nice, and it does have a lot of different bits of detail on. You've probably all seen them before. I mean, it's been re-released now tons of times. The psychic paper version, we have obviously the ink nib and things, and just compare this to the one that we see now. There's just a lot more to offer. We of course have the extra black ink nib, and then we have the solid screwdriver itself, and the LED feature, and of course the psychic paper as well. And then taking a look at the back there, it's just so nicely set out. It is a great example of the original products, especially in this nicely designed box. And as well, who can remember the classic Doctor Who seal of approval sticker? That now is not put on any of the products because they probably can't afford to do the embossed sticker. So yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? In case if you're unaware of what the original release was, basically you had this Sonic Screwdriver, which is nothing really missing out on. It's exactly the same as the original. Of course, though, this one has the purple light inside because it's there to reveal the message inside. This hasn't got any batteries in because it's literally never been out of the box before. So yeah, there he is. That one's nice, isn't it? It's got a great amount of detail on. Here is the ink nib. Now, as you can see, this is actually still in its cellophane, which I find really weird because it's just not been opened and it's like nearly 10 years old now. But yeah, you have UV ink nib there. And of course, you sort of swap these around at the bottom here, which there we have the pen inside there, which you could write with. It's a pen as well. That's a feature that the other version got rid of. You know, it's just so nice. And then we have, of course, the psychic paper, which was one of the things that I was actually most attracted to this figure for, because I was the original version and I got the little booklet of sticky notes instead. So yeah, this is the psychic paper. It's not really anything special. It's just sort of like a pleather little sort of cheapy wallet thing. So as you can see, it's got the pleather effect on there and the sides. And then taking a look on the inside here, we have this little bit of white paper. Now, well, it's not white actually. It's sort of a whiteboardy type of plasticky thing. So yeah, you could sort of write your hidden message on there, shine it with the pen, and then it of course would reveal it. And then what I do like is it also went through the detail of having this little thing here, and obviously the material much like how it did in the series. So if you're a cosplayer, it might actually be really nice to pick this up, because I was actually quite interested by the product. But yeah, I had to open it just to have a look at this. But yeah, it is actually a really nice and quite rare product, and it would actually be nice to see this be released again somehow. I mean, they can't exactly re-release this just by itself, because it's not really exactly, I don't really think people would buy it. But yeah, maybe release this again with the Sonic Screwdriver, just on a bit of a rerun. I'm quite surprised that the American side of things haven't done that yet. But overall, I think the Sonic Screwdriver was one of those things that you needed to have in your collection back then, and I can remember getting mine for Christmas quite fondly, my first ever Sonic Screwdriver, and it was really cool, and I used it quite a lot. So yeah, that's really it for all of these products, and it's quite a weird one to end on, but this one is sort of the most generic Doctor Who item that you can get along with a TARDIS or anything else, because this is the Sonic Screwdriver. So that's really it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I said at the very start, this was of course in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the revived series. At the end of the day, the revived series is what I grew up with. I always watched every single episode when it aired from series 2, and then I went back to see the rest of series 1, and it has always had a place in my heart. I've gone all the way through primary school, secondary school, and when Doctor Who was actually cool when I was like in year 2 and everybody used to get the figures like the Sycorax. I was always jealous of that one kid that had the Sycorax leader and I didn't. And then when everybody went on to Tamagotchis or whatever it was, or Match Attacks, I carried on. And now I'm 15, and I have no friends or social life, and I'm still here today, not doing anything else. But yeah, and now I have like over 300 odd figures. Yeah. I should really get a life. But yeah, that's why all you're watching, right? Yeah, we've had amazing 5-inch figures of the past 10 years. Of course, the character options line sort of started around 9 years ago, because I do believe they started to release around Series 2. But yeah, that is around when I actually started, funny enough. So yeah, I've sort of been there from figures-wise, from around the very start, I would say. But I've definitely gone back and tried to get as many as I can. I'm only now missing the slight little variants to the collection. And this video, of course, was dedicated to the figures that started it all. So if you're wondering why there hasn't been Series 3 onwards figures, that is because those figures didn't start it for me, really. I was already addicted to buying the figures by then. So yeah, although the figures from Series 3 and 4 are quite good, less to say about Series 5 and 6, because that is when the quality started to drop. But yeah, it is actually... This review was just dedicated to those figures that started it all for me. And quite honestly, possibly and arguably the best times for Doctor Who 5-inch figures, because they released tons of figures that were brilliant, and then of course just having a comparison there with all the Doctors at the front: the 9th Doctor brilliant, the 10th Doctor brilliant, the 11th Doctor figure brilliant, one of the recent ones, and then we have the 12th Doctor, which is still on depressants at the front. So yeah, it is inevitable that we will be getting a 5-inch Peter Capaldi probably in the next year. I would dare say that'll be coming round the corner very, very soon, and I'm holding out to that day because that figure will be absolutely brilliant. But these 10 years of Doctor Who would have not been the same without character options. In the description below, why don't you comment some of your favourite figures from your past times of Doctor Who? Why not say your first 5 figures? I actually don't know my first 5, I only know my first ever ones, being K9 and things. But yeah, why don't you comment below your first ever figures, maybe your favourite figures overall from the line, and hey, why not say some things about the 10th anniversary of what you hoped would have happened, but of course didn't. I'm of course speaking past tense, because maybe something happened, maybe this lovely man returned. That was sarcasm. But yeah, something may have happened today that I don't know, because I'm recording this in like 2 weeks in advance. But oh well, you know, I hope you've had an amazing 10th anniversary. I hope something happened, but hey, the likelihood nothing else happened at all. So yeah, thanks for watching this review. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big like, and please subscribe if you're not already. If you have any questions, please do leave them below, and I'll be sure to answer them at some point in the near future. Thanks again for watching, and I shall see you all next time. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye for now.